Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We are doing the Auric programming journey, and we're on number 6, behavior. This is also involved with the prefrontal cortex. And so this is tied to, how we conduct ourselves, how we react to stimuli from the environment, from other people. And so it's kind of tied to what we were talking about for those of you who did the class this last weekend with resonance. It's related to that. How we are influenced by our environment and how we influence our environment and then how we conduct ourselves and how we, you know, behave and things like that. So this could also be, when you have a task at hand, like say you go, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to build a birdhouse or whatever it is. And like how you monitor yourself as you produce the result. Like you manage your time, you put in your effort. Did you get your materials? Did you, set aside some time and schedule? All of those things are still kind of tied to behavior. So, in a way, it's also tied to materialization and uh, the ability to produce a result, right? So, with that, we're using a blend called behavior support. And with your behavior support, we're going to first do the standard approach, and then we're going to do the advanced approach. So with your behavior support, you're going to start inhaling with your awareness on the left side of your body, from the side of your face, down the left side of your neck and shoulder, your left ribs and hip, down the outer left leg to the left outer ankle. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And then your awareness is on the front side of your body. Your awareness is on the whole front side, from your face down the whole front side of your body to the tops of your feet. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And then the right side of your body, the whole right side. right side of your face, all the way down to the right outer ankle. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And then the back side of your body, the whole back side, back of your head, down your back, all the way to your heels. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And then just be still. Okay, now we're going to do the advanced approach. So the standard approach is something that you can do daily or something you do in a stack. You can do it for maintenance. You can still do it for treatment, but when you're really wanting to go deep on something, you do the advanced approach and you do it like once a week. You don't have to do it every day, but you can do the advanced approach once a week, and then in between, you can do the standard approach. So with that, we're going to do the advanced approach. You're beginning to inhale. Your awareness is on the left side of your body. The whole left side, from the left side of your face all the way down to the left outer ankle. And then the back side of the body, from the back of your head all the way down to your heels. Now do the right side of your body, the whole right side of your face, all the way down to the right outer ankle. You're doing the whole right side of your body. And then the front side of your body, from your face all the way down to the tops of your feet. And then just be still. Just be still. You're just being still. Your awareness is on the knees. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on the knees. It can be the whole knee or at least the back of the knee. You do the whole knee, it'd be the front, the sides, and the back. And then the ankles. Your awareness is on the ankles. And then the soles of your feet. Your awareness is on the soles of your feet. And then just pause and let go. Just be still. Now we're going to go back through into the four quadrants again. Left side of your body, left side of your face, all the way down to the left outer ankle. And your awareness is on the front side of the body, from your face all the way down to the tops of your feet. Your awareness is on the whole front side of your body, from your face all the way down to the tops of your feet. The right side of your body, right side of your face and neck, all the way down to the right outer ankle. Your awareness is on the right side of the body, from the side of the face down to the right outer ankle. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. The back side of the body, from the back of the head all the way down the back side to the heels. And then you're just being still. Just be still. Now we're doing the last aspect. You're inhaling, your awareness is on your brain. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on the brain. You're on the brain, you're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Your awareness is on the spine. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on the spine. In your brain and spine, both at the same time. Your brain and spine, both at the same time. And then the brain and soles of your feet, both at the same time. And as you inhale, raise your awareness up above the ankle. As you exhale, down into the earth. And then just pause and be still. You're just being still. Notice your body, your emotions. Notice your thoughts. How's that feel to you?
Good.
So let's go ahead and share experiences, ask questions. You can unmute yourself. You can type in.
Give me just a second, guys. Go ahead, Linda, then Barbara.
Hey, Linda.
Hey, hi there. Um, I saw in the newsletter that this oil says that it improves the body's ability to transmute stress.
Yeah.
So I've been using the healing stress class stuff with rosemary and basil and sage.
Mhm.
And I got to tell you, it's been phenomenal.
Oh,
And
good.
last week was so horrible. And then I did that. And the rosemary in particular for me, I've been doing it on the wrist. I've been doing it internally. I've been
Mhm.
doing breathing patterns. And then I'm combining that with basil and sage. So I'm wondering about how to incorporate this particular oil with those. Would that make sense?
Yeah, I would still use those the same way you're using it, and then just do the standard approach on this, like maybe in the evenings.
Ah, okay.
Like take 10 minutes or something and just add it to the little, you
Hmm.
know, protocol. And that could be very helpful.
Okay, cool. I will incorporate this one as well because it was magical, and I'm just really you'd mentioned something about as we relieve the stress and our body gets the ability to transmute it more, right?
Right.
That we'll start to notice other things like you mentioned something in particular like allergies, runny nose, mucus, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm noticing it's only been since Friday, but I've been noticing it like a diminishing of that, and I'm
Yeah.
very excited about that.
Yeah. 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 Because I mean, a lot of that is still tied to the sympathetic part of the nervous system, like that it like loses tone or gets overstimulated. Usually it loses tone. And the sage helps with the parasympathetic activity, which is rest and repair, but rosemary is very toning to the sympathetic part of the nervous system. And so I really like the combination, like you're doing, like you're kind of rotating through all three of those. And then this is just another way to like treat it. And again, going back to the behavior, it's kind of the Auric version of what we did last weekend, where it's about how the environment affects us and then how we react to the environment or how we influence the environment. And so on the weekend, we were doing the vibrational state where we're shifting something inside of us, but this is the aura, the energetic molder blueprint. And so it does have a big impact.
Mhm. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to incorporate it that way. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. I'm glad it's working for you.
Oh, you have no idea. It's just I had no idea I was so stressed out and that so many things that were
Yeah,
going on in my body were because of the stress. And
right. And
just
sometimes it's just the body is stressed out. Like emotionally, mentally, you might be totally fine, but
yeah.
your body is going through a stress, like a stress reaction.
Yeah, no, I think it was everything.
You're
Okay, thank you so much.
so welcome.
And then go ahead, Barbara, and then we have in chat as well.
Hey, Barbara.
Well, this is going on the greatest hits list.
Oh, good.
Um, yeah, a lot of activation in the heart and the crown, which
Yeah,
I was
yeah, I would
expecting to
agree.
feel it moving in my head, but yeah, heart and crown. And I'm wondering how much the work of the resonance class this weekend has augmented this particular thing we just did.
It definitely would go hand in hand. Originally I was gonna put this in the resonance class, but then I was like, because we're talking about vibration and then we're talking about the Auric program, and even though they're all treating it, I'll save it for like a mashup because I want to kind of teach the piece the way that it is before I start like blending all the other aspects to it. And so it is a different facet of the same issue.
Things have been nice and chill since that class, so thank you so
Yeah,
much.
I know that class is so good. Yeah, good. I'm glad you enjoyed.
Well, and I wanted to share just, and it looks like it might be the share, and then we'll go into Q&A, guys, just a heads up on that. So if you want to if you have a question going into Q&A, you can raise your hand now, so you can get yourself in queue. But I wanted to share, even last night when I was doing the newsletter and I was like looking at what our program is, I was like, well, prefrontal cortex is always my favorite anyway, anything with that. But like Linda was saying about the stressed state, I was just like, oh, it's gonna be fun. I don't think I remember how good the behavior support smelled though.
Yeah, it's good.
It's like fancy and sweet, and I just feel stronger right now.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so I just wanted to share that. And with that, we are gonna end the ARC programming session for the night. That was week 6. and we'll get into your guys' Q&A questions. Glad you guys could join us for our programming. And go ahead, Priya, then Lolly.
Hey, Priya.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Very challenging last few days. Like, very triggering, very challenging. I have all the tools, resources, but it's like I don't even know what to go for. And
Did something happen, or it just seems to be like a thing you're going through?
a bit of both. I have relatives over,
Oh,
and
that's right.
that doesn't,
Let's put it on that.
it's been a lot. And I
Yeah.
know that a lot of times things are not meant, like the intention is not bad, but there is still like I'm shaking right now. I,
So you're shaking, you're feeling a little bit triggered. Did something happen with that that was upsetting, or you're just feeling kind of triggered with the whole situation?
a bit of both. It's like in a very joking way when 10 plus times during the day things like, oh, she's an idiot, she doesn't know, get said, but I know that deep down that's not the intention. But when it gets said quite a few times, it triggers. It
Sure.
triggers a lot. And so nothing helped. Yesterday I did the nerve help. That sort of calmed me down a little bit. But yeah, I'm just struggling.
And have you been able to do the thing where you feel it in your body?
No.
Let's do it right now. I'll sit here and I'll do it with you. Okay. So you know everything that's going on, but now just put your awareness on your body, and where do you feel it in your body? Just where does it jump out at you?
My hands, my legs.
Okay. So put your awareness on your hands and your legs, and just be still and just try to maintain your awareness on your hands and your legs. Just maintaining your awareness. Keep doing it. Now go back and reflect on the situation, the things going on. And then feel it in your body again. And it might be a different place. It might not just be where your awareness was. Keep your awareness on your body. And how are you right now? Did that shift anything for you?
It did. It did a little bit. Yeah.
So I would say this is a practice that you could do a little bit daily,
Yeah.
especially when something's happened. But you're also in the middle of a situation where you are getting triggered and stuff. So, things like tarragon, vetiver, um, what fancy things do you have? Like, give me an idea of like some of the precious oils you have.
Um, I have ginger lily.
Okay,
I have astral projection.
okay.
Um, helichrysum. Can't even remember, to be honest. It's just
You have the plant teacher's kit, right?
I do.
I think tuberose is in that, right?
It is. I've got the
Hmm.
tuberose body
Let,
tonic also.
let's have you use some tuberose as well. And the idea is, you know, like fancy oils are nice, but it doesn't always take a fancy oil to achieve a result in some of these situations. But the thing that I like about tuberose for you right now is, for one, it helps to stimulate like rest and repair, which means it's pulling you out of fight flight. But it also is tied to like letting something go, right? And part of in these situations, you're letting go of other people's opinions and their judgments and their bap 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 bap, which is a fancy way or a not so fancy way of saying opinions. It would be helpful for you to like let go of the pattern. It's not really you, but you're being stimulated in these situations. Sorry, I picked up a little bit of a cough on my travel. So it just helps you to let their drama go, if that makes sense.
And how would I use it?
Just inhale it. You don't even have to do a pattern. Just inhale it.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't work, take it and throw it at them. We should have sent you a bigger bottle, yeah.
I will work with that. I received the resonance kit, but while I'm waiting on the book and the recordings, I really like the self acceptance oil.
Yes.
Uh, is there is there any way I could use that also?
Yeah, so the way to use that, it's kind of an interesting thing. You could use that or you could use neroli, which is also in that kit. Um, and you inhale with your awareness on the jaws.
Yeah.
Like keep inhaling with your awareness on the jaw. And
God,
since you have the resonance class, the other one to pull out, you could use it instead of the tuberose, or you could use it in conjunction with the tuberose, but there is a blend in there called formless consciousness.
yeah.
And so it's tied to an aspect of higher consciousness and talk about calming down those defense mechanisms because part of what's happening here is you have defenses that are being stimulated because you're being bombarded with things from the outside, right? You know, other people. And so it's tied to just calming down those responses. I mean, it's doing other things too, but for here, that's what the primary thing is.
So just inhale.
Yeah. I mean, just inhale, but there's a segment. Let me look it up, like, because I don't remember uh, the patterns. I have to look them up just like you guys. Like, I don't really remember.
And Priya, I'm gonna get you that workbook PDF here in just a minute.
Thank you.
It's segment 5. So you do like the 4 quadrants of the aura, and then you do like the brain, the spine, the brain spine, brain soles of the feet, and then the materialization breath.
Yeah.
And so like Samantha said, the booklet is coming to you.
Thank you. Yeah, my next question was about jaws because I've been working on unwinding the jaws for since you recommended the clinical corner, that one.
Right, right.
I haven't been doing it every day, but every now and then I do it. But my jaws are super tight.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I can feel it in my jaws even when I'm just breathing, walking around normal life.
You
So,
know, somebody from the weekend said that's the loosest her jaws have felt in a very long time. With you can use self-acceptance or you can just use the neroli, which is also in that kit.
okay, great. I will work with that.
Yeah. That
Thank
will
you.
also help calm down the responses. You know, because anytime the jaw is tight, it overactivates the adrenals. It basically makes us more hypersensitive. You know, hypersensitive
My
things going on around us.
my biggest concern also is when I get when I start to shake, there comes a point when I don't remember the day, the date, it becomes it takes me somewhere else.
Yeah.
And if I've been applying vetiver
Uh-huh.
um daily few
And
times.
has that been calming that down at all?
Uh, it does. It does make me a bit present, but I think it's just my condition is, I don't know. It's gonna
Yeah.
probably take me some time.
Well, you know, we knew that it was going to be a thing and that they're going to be there for a while. So let's come up with good strategies to not just help you survive the situation, but break out of some of the things that go on. you know?
Yeah. So vetiver and these oils, and I'll
Right.
class.
Yeah.
Thank
So,
you.
so segment 5 for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
And then go ahead, Lolly, then Denise.
Hey, Lolly.
Hey. Um, okay, let's see. Actually, let me do like a quick question on what you just talked about, the self-acceptance,
Huh?
which is such a beautiful oil. Can I also
Isn't
just,
it just like it's like
oh,
something?
oh my God, can it, and I can put it on my wrists, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's already in my cart to order it. Yeah, there's something just so relaxing about it. It- The entire class
It's so
was
weirdly relaxing. Like that it's almost I was working with it before the class a little bit, like maybe about a week before the class, because I start writing the class and I start getting excited about like, oh, this piece and that piece, and like I'm gonna do this and that. And I did like one evening, I really worked the jaws and I was going back and forth with neroli and self-acceptance. And it was so weirdly relaxing to the point where it was almost euphoric.
mm,
Like I felt almost like I should meditate, or I just meditated, or like, I got a blessing, or how like you just get like, ugh. And I was like, man, just working the jaws did that. And I didn't like in the booklet, it's the jaws and the back throat. I wasn't even doing the back throat. I was just working the jaws. And it took a tension out of my body that I didn't even know was there until it was gone. Like it was just this weird thing that just kind of floated away. Yeah.
yeah, it's
You know, the self-acceptance, at least for me, I could be projecting this onto you guys, but self-acceptance kind of strikes me as like, oh, I have to accept my broken parts, or the pieces that are hurt or injured or traumatized. But when I do the practice, it's more about like embracing these things that's like stronger, or these pieces of ourselves that we kind of deny, but they're not broken. They're just pieces that we don't access very much.
mhm, yeah.
No.
So
Like
yeah,
I,
so
I
that's
was I was referring to it as the inner badass on the weekend, and
mhm,
you know,
yeah, I love that.
yeah.
Needed. So yeah, thank you. So to follow up on all that's been going on with me, because there's been like the skin situation and overall the body's been kind of acting up. So I did all the things you
Like
said.
when you say the body's been acting up, like what?
So the pins and needles, and that's also been going on. So the skin is looking much better.
Okay,
Just a little bit around the mouth, but it's in the process of resolving, so that's much better. I
okay,
did all the things you said. I did Angelica with the pattern. Now I can do it with the consciousness blend. I did Lang Lang on the body to open the breath. I love Lang Lang, so that's great. But what's been going on and been a little bit driving me crazy is the pins and needles. It's been really bad. And then actually the day we did the class on Sunday night, I had to catch up on the class from the previous day on the second half. But it was so bad. So I did cat cow, that you move your body, your spine,
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
in yoga.
yeah, yeah.
My spine felt like it was on fire. And then I did the practice because I was catching up on the second part of Saturday. And then I felt like everything just felt amazing. Like a lot of things that I didn't even realize were still there. I was able to let go of. And interestingly enough, I fell asleep better that night. So I don't, and then yesterday and today it's there, but something is better. I also, the other thing I've been doing, because I couldn't think anymore, and I have all these oils, and what do? I've been doing tarragon internally, with the idea of balancing the nervous system. I mean, I do that every now and then, but I was like, let's see if that's gonna be. So I don't know if that shifted things. Also been trying mugwort on, like doing that on the joints, because I have mugwort ointments. So with the idea of moving things, the pins and needles. So today's better. It's mostly the lower back, and then it radiates in a weird way to the hands and to the legs.
So you're getting pins and needles in your low back and in your hands and then the low back.
and the hands and legs a little bit, but mainly the low back, yeah. And it was going on, even before I traveled. Then it got better. Now all of a sudden the low back has been really bad, mostly. And then we also talked about sleep last time, and the issue, and I tried to go to bed a little bit earlier a couple of nights. The main issue is when I sleep fine, but the falling asleep part, I'm so uncomfortable with the pins and needles, and that's an issue. The
Do,
last couple
do
of nights not as
the
bad, but
does the pins and needles get worse as you lay down?
does it get worse as
Like, is it there during the day, but when you lay down, it becomes more like
it
intensified?
be so, and I don't feel it all the time. But yeah, when I lay down, it's like the body's touching something, so it intensifies. But even if I'm standing and I'm not actually, um but again, there's something, I feel like something kind of shifted a little bit in the last couple of days, and I don't know if it's doing the process from the class, because something that I had major guilt about all of a sudden came up, and I feel like that released, because it was super powerful to do that again on Sunday night, what I
Yeah,
missed in the um
it's a very potent class.
so
Like,
yeah, and
if
now
you
it's like
think of defense mechanisms, like that plays into so many things for
so
healing and psychological references, and I use a lot of those oils, independent of this class. I've been using a lot of those oils in this, especially that sequence in the first segment.
mhm,
I've been using that for universal healer. I was using poplar. Universal healer's been a more recent development, but
mhm.
been using poplar, but I've been using that sequence for a very long time.
So yeah, so it's really, now it's like one of my favorite classes.
Yeah.
So I don't know if something I did in the class helped the body, or is it, I've been also using vetiver before I'm going to sleep, so I'm doing that
Both
late.
should be
There's
helpful. Um,
so, but I don't
I
know.
would say that first segment probably is helpful, but even that segment that I was just talking to Priya about,
Yeah.
the formless consciousness, I mean,
Mm-hmm,
it is just going to shut down a lot of, because a lot of times the body's like armoring or protective mechanisms can be soft tissue. So, I mean, pins and needles could be tightening of the spine, or it could be a tightening of the diaphragm, which is going to tighten the spine, one way or another. And so, could be an external stimuli, could be something going on internal. If the defense mechanisms are hyper reactive, hyper vigilant, that could play a role. There's also, we didn't really talk about this part in the class, but when we have a lot of like past negative experiences, even though we might not be in a situation that has the same intensity or even the same vibe, there's still sometimes an unconscious expectation of something, you know.
Mhm.
I catch myself doing it all the time, like, this is gonna be, fill in the blank, and then it doesn't happen, and then I'm almost like, I wonder why that didn't happen. But like,
Mhm.
and the body has it, and the mind has it, and so that formless consciousness really helps to calm that stuff down.
Yes, I switched that from using the Angelica. I'm using
Yeah,
this now with
because
yeah,
Angelica is a big piece of
is
that.
it
I was
exactly.
this and Angelica and neroli.
Yeah. So I switched to that. But I can't tell. And I mean, the fact that I moved the spine like that and it was so intense,
Yeah,
maybe something really needed to be moved because I did that again yesterday and today, and it's been feeling better.
yeah.
But I I don't know what else. Like, so I'll do this process is in terms of putting something on my body or taking something, should I keep, I don't know, should I keep the,
I would do these things, and going back to what we had talked about a few weeks ago, relaxing the diaphragm and then relaxing the spinal thalamic tract would be the things
yeah.
that I add to that. And
So
so,
then do the, go
yeah,
back to the spikenard and,
spikenard, marjoram,
yeah.
galbanum.
Mm-hmm. I've been even taking galbanum more actually internally. Yeah.
Very good. That's very good for you.
Because I was like, if there's any inflammation or something, so I added that as well. So, and then what, just keep doing tarragon internally as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think the tarragon's helpful. If I had to choose, galbanum would probably be a bit higher on the list, and you're already doing that, so you can throw tarragon in the mix. You might want to trade out tarragon for like doing a little spikenard internally, or even a little
I
vetiver.
did that. So I do spikenard internally before bed. Before I'm going to sleep, I do that.
Okay. I mean, you're doing all the right things, so sometimes it's just time, you know. Nothing's too crazy going on in your life. Like you said, you're processing something, but
So what I was processing actually it's from a few years ago. It's guilt that's sitting from 3.5 years ago. It's not even from now what came up.
right.
It's related to my mom actually. And I was like, oh, this is interesting that it's coming up. No, there's actually less stress now that what I had before, but I also actually, so interestingly enough, I went to clean my teeth today, and apparently my gums were really not doing great, like kind of inflamed. And
Yeah.
she's like, "Oh yeah, that can be related to stress as well."
Yeah.
So I guess everything is
You had a
just
stressful couple months. I mean,
exactly. So now it's just like
now you're,
balancing.
yeah, now you're cleaning up the crime scene. I mean,
Yeah.
we just had 5 days of like a little bit of stress and chaos, and I'm like, "Bleh." Like you had 2 months of it, and it was way more intense than what we went through. And like, I'm ready to take my ball and go home and just sit in
Oh my
the
God.
room for a couple of days. I can't imagine what you went through.
And it was really cool doing the class. Really sitting with that and with all the
Yeah.
processes that felt really like, yeah. Um, and then is there anything, and using on my body, is there anything other than vetiver? Is there something that you think would be
I
more?
mean, you can try experimenting. The thing that I like about vetiver for that is it's calming and soothing to the immune system for one. And like a lot of times under stress, the immune system gets kind of agitated, and it's calming to that. And then it's also a muscle relaxer. It does have some anti-inflammatory properties, and it helps to ground your, keep you like in your body more. And
Mhm.
so it's hitting a lot of the needs in that
Mhm.
situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just because we put it on doesn't mean it all resolves, but like over
Yeah, but it
the
feels,
time,
mm-hmm.
I
So
would
yeah,
say
okay. Yeah, so I've been doing that like the base of my skull and
Yeah.
kind of moving
But
it
like on your
through the
spine
spine.
and
Yeah,
even on your arms and legs, your
okay.
feet.
Yeah, and I have an ointment as well from
Yeah.
with Vetiver, so I can do that.
Yeah.
And earlier I actually did because I got the Blue Healer ointment, and I was like, oh,
Not
maybe
a
I
bad
should.
choice there either. Like
Yeah,
all super solid choices.
yeah. So I'm like every day I'm experimenting
Yeah.
with something else.
Hey, sometimes that's what it is though. Like you kind of keep
Yeah.
rotating different things and one thing might not do it, but you kind of hit some combination. You know, I think with like normal medicine, like from the doctor, we really get into like, I'm going to take this pill every day for 6 months and it's gonna make something work better. I'm gonna feel better, whatever. But a lot of times with like the things that we're talking about, it is a little bit more of a rotational thing where you're trying different aspects because you're trying to shift how the body is functioning and improve it in a way. And so you get something working a little bit better and then you can shift to something else. And so all your choices are pretty solid. You
So
know?
hopefully it's gonna keep
Yeah.
improving because I
But
also
but I
get
also find
spasms.
it interesting that like you said, you're processing something from a very long time ago, and that kind of stuff does play a role. And we say that like, oh, it's surfacing. It was always there, but
Oh
you're
yeah.
processing of letting it go, and
Hmm.
so it kind of gets a little bit more intense before it releases. You could kind of call that mm, like an instinctual or not instinct, uh extinctual, like when something becomes extinct,
Hmm.
like even in us, or like say even in the workplace, like somebody's like maybe in about to get fired, all of a sudden they start performing really well
Hmm.
right before they get
Yeah.
fired, right? And so like sometimes when we're really on top of something, it gets a little more riled up as we're processing it, letting it go. And part of it is it wants, it's thought form, so it wants to survive just like anything else. And so it puts in an effort to try to maintain itself a little bit.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so, you know, you're doing all the right things. And so
Yeah.
that you're getting some movement in there, everything's going in the right direction. So at some point, time and gravity, it's
Yeah.
some time and gravity now.
But
Just
yeah, it's
keep it rolling, keep it moving with what.
hmm yeah. Okay. Thank you. And yeah, and I also been using the self-acceptance more and also the trees, which
Mhm.
it's a really cool blend.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so yeah. So that
yeah.
was
I've
yeah.
had many a salt bath with the trees blend. Oh my God, I
Oh my God. It's yeah, so that's also very cool. So thank you. And then also what I'm wondering about as far as Angelica, um,
Mhm.
I'm also taking Angelica tincture.
Okay.
So would that, because originally the idea was to get the blood moving because of like I have some, the veins in my legs and the hands and the feet are cold. Not sure if it's doing much, but I'm wondering if it's helpful when I'm taking it as a tincture. Would it do something similar to when I'm doing inhalations with that
Oh
to
yeah. Yeah, yeah,
release
yeah.
the emotional?
How is the coldness in the hands and feet?
Terrible. Like I don't have another word to say it. It's just that like I can sit here and I'm
Yeah.
not cold and
No, I
my
hear
feet
you.
are freezing. Like I can feel them cold.
How long have you been doing the tincture?
For a while now. Quite a while actually.
So
Like
longer than 30 days.
yes, yes, for sure. Yeah, even before I traveled. So yes.
Let me look something up. And you don't have any issue with your thyroid or anything like that?
No.
What about, are you prone to anemia?
Yes, I am anemic. That's what so my iron is low because I did blood tests beginning of December, so my iron is very low. My
So
B12 is very
it's
high.
iron related anemia.
Yes, and I've been taking iron now for a while,
How long have you been taking that?
since December, so a couple of months.
And is the iron causing you any constipation at all or anything like that?
No, I found after I tried pretty much everything I can think of, no, I found a liquid that I can tolerate.
And it's iron in some plants, or
It's iron. I think maybe it has some sin in it. I tried doing the plants, and then when I wasn't feeling well in Israel, I just had to stop. My body couldn't take it,
okay.
and I didn't go back to that. So I'm doing another one that my body is fine with it.
I'm going to say that the coldness in the hands and feet is probably the anemia. I mean, it's definitely one of
But I
the
had it in times when I wasn't anemic because I had an issue with that years
still
ago, and
prone.
then I was fine.
You're still prone. You know what I mean? Like, it's,
Yeah.
if you look at it from just the point of view of symptoms, but it's like something's going on in the body where you're still prone to it.
Mm-hmm.
So let's have you it'll be slow, but a lemon taken internally
Yeah.
for a period of time can help with the resolution of anemia. And so it won't do it completely by itself. I mean, it helps, but with you taking iron and everything else, the combination should be helpful.
I can go back because I was taking it for a while, and then I
Yeah.
haven't been
And
doing that.
I would probably take like 8-10 drops a day.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, like I would, I mean, I'd started with 8 or 10 drops, and I might even go up to like 15 or 20 at some point. The only issue that I will say, if you're doing that much, I wouldn't do that with other oils, but lemon's pretty gentle, it's pretty soft. But when you start taking that much, your blood is going to be a little thinner, and if you get a cut, it's going to bleed longer.
Okay. And I'm already prone to like that. Yeah. But okay. So okay. So that's the
And so
only.
the idea is, if the blood gets a little thinner, it becomes easier to get to your limbs. You know, it's just easier to get everywhere.
But then the issues that I have also with the no with the blood circulation, and that's why it's helpful for the blood circulation, right? Because
Yeah.
basically that's the yeah. Because I still have all the veins in my legs. I still have these. So even taking the vein health, the tincture didn't do
What do you
anything.
mean you still have them?
So the veins, I have a lot of veins on my legs. So
Mhm.
that didn't resolve, like it didn't change at all.
Oh,
So it's also blood circulation, I'm
that's
thinking.
not going to magically go away. You're trying
No.
to stop it from getting worse. Like when the veins kind of get there, I mean, sometimes they'll reverse a little bit, but you're trying to stop it from continually doing that. So
Okay.
that they didn't resolve is not surprising.
Okay.
You're just not wanting them to keep getting worse and worse and worse.
Okay.
Yeah,
So okay, so just add the lemon and see
yeah,
how that.
I would add the lemon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And just one quick question. You talk a lot about like, not taking oils before like, procedure or something like that. And I think you mentioned even not before some tests. And I'm wondering, how does it work? Like if I need to go and do like a blood test,
Mhm.
do I need to stop taking oils like a day before, a few days
I
before?
would do at least 36 hours or so.
Okay, at least, okay.
Yeah. Like a day and a half.
Okay, yeah, okay. Just so I'll know, because, okay.
Just so you
Thank
don't throw
you.
the test off. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you're trying to figure something out. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes sense. But I was like, okay, let's just double check. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Thank
Like
you.
if it was a surgery, I'd say at least 48, 72 hours, depending. Like lemon is a good example. 72
Yeah.
hours for surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Because it could cause excess bleeding. But most of
Mm-hmm.
us, 48 hours.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. And then the lemon, can I take it with, I need to take it separately or do I need to, does it matter?
I would take it by
Like,
itself. Like
okay.
you could throw it in a water bottle and drink it
Yeah.
for the day or take it all at once. Whenever I do it, I just go, and then,
Yeah, exactly. It's easy. Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Perfect. Thank you so, so much.
you're so welcome.
And then go ahead, Denise, then Peggy.
Hey, Denise.
Hi, Greg. Welcome home.
Thank
Uh,
you. Thank
okay, it's probably the stress has gotten pretty bad for me. Mostly I'm getting gaps. I'll get totally blanks, which isn't really common for me.
you. Okay.
That's why like taking a new class, I wouldn't be able to really absorb the material right now.
Like, do you just feel like you check out a little bit?
I don't know where I went. I went to reach for like persimmon, the color. It's one of my favorite colors. I could not remember persimmon. The only thing that came was pomegranate, pomegranate over and over. And but mostly gaps where it'll just be gone, and I think it is just it's accumulated stress and I'm not sleeping very well. So I was just hoping you could make a few recommendations. I was able to write down some things that were helping everyone else. But
Let's do a couple of things. You have ginger lily.
I do have ginger lily.
So there's the pattern of the back heart, the navel, and the crown.
I'll write it out for you.
Yeah, back heart, navel, and crown. Samantha's going to write it up for you.
Thank you so much, Samantha. I
And
appreciate it.
then either apply vetiver to the arms and legs or inhale vetiver into the arms and legs.
Okay. Um,
And let me just see one more thing. And do you have galbanum?
I do. Yes.
Let's have you take a couple of drops, 2-3 drops of galbanum twice a day.
Oh, I like that. I've never tried it internal. 2 to 3.
Yeah. And the idea, like when you said, like you feel like you kind of check out or you lose a little bit of time or have a hard time recalling things. All of these are going to help you be like more present and not have that like taking off, thing that happens.
Well, in other ways, it's kind of surprising. I had to really deal with some things with my son today, and I really stayed calm. And even when people were really pretty upset, I stayed pretty calm and clear. And I said, "Can you explain to me what happened so I can make some decisions on him?" So I that part, I know part of the work we do is really helping, right? But the sleeping part, I think, is him because he's been out on the streets, all right.
Sure.
And he's so out there that he won't accept help from anyone. So he's pretty gray and really drawn when I saw him today. Um, and I think, just as a mom, I pick up that stuff with him.
Sure.
And I think that stress level where I'm not even sure sometimes if it's me or him or, what's going on, that it's just ramped up because it's been a couple years of this stuff. That's where the gaps, but that's new. The gaps are new, which is, it's a bit disconcerting. I'd rather not have them. And
Yeah.
then I wanted to ask
Yeah.
one other.
And like you bring up a good point. Like you're dealing with something difficult in a situation, you have to have interaction with, maybe a professional that's in that situation, or you're just dealing with some sort of crisis. So there's an area where people would check out, but sometimes we're able to step up and handle the situation. And then after the situation goes away, sometimes that's also where we would like kind of, check out a little bit, like after everything's done on the other side of it. And so it sounds like that's a little bit more of what's happening. And so I think those things right there should be very helpful.
That would make sense because you're right. I do often crash after some
Yeah.
big things.
Yeah, that's a perfect way of saying it. Like
Yeah.
you handle the intensity, and then afterwards you're like, okay, everything's done. Ugh. And then there's the crash.
Yes.
The other thing, like you're going through and you're treating these things, and if you needed, like those are helping, but it's still not quite completely it. You would have a couple of choices. One might be a little bit of cinnamon internally,
Okay.
because that will stimulate body's processes. But I suspect that do you have like arnica or arnica complex from any of the classes?
I do have the arnica. I'm not sure about arnica complex, but I might have
Doesn't
both,
matter.
but
Like
definitely arnica.
yeah, so you have the arnica. So the arnica is, the reason to use cinnamon is it acts as like a stimulant to the body's processes, and it just makes everything work better, you know. Arnica does that, but a little bit more. It does it for the body, but it also does it for like the emotions and the mind.
Mhm.
So things that are traumatic, things that are stressful, things that make you uneasy or agitated, arnica is probably even a little bit better choice. And you just inhale it, don't take it internal, just inhale it. So you might expect, like I do those other things first. And
Okay.
then if things still are feeling like, yeah, I'm feeling better, but it's still not quite there, experiment with cinnamon and then experiment with arnica. See which one works for you the best, or even if both of them.
That sounds great. Thank you for the plan. That's what I was
Yeah.
needing was a good
Yeah.
plan. And then one other time you told me when I was doing this, beginning physical therapy, you told me there was a oil that would deepen it, or massage too, anything on massage and I don't remember what that oil was.
What was it for?
Like if I was doing physical therapy, you said it sort of deepens the work. It was
Oh, it's probably chakra root cleanser.
I think you're right. I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
exactly what it was.
It
Yes.
increases range of motion, gets everything moving, it opens up the channels.
Oh, thank you. That's great. And then just one last thing. This is for my nephew, the one that has kind of the more limited breathing and stuff. He's
Okay.
had like long COVID and
Okay.
mostly brain fog. So
Okay.
I have the respiratory blend to send him, and I also have now the angelic support that you suggested he could inhale.
Okay.
Is there one for that kind of brain fog he's having? Or maybe some of that will be cleared, with what we're sending.
I would try with what we have in motion.
Okay.
Brain fog can be agitation, but a lot of times it's an imbalance in the nervous system and then poor lymphatic function. And so the things that we kind of put in motion should help to balance things out. And so let's see where it's at. I mean, the other thing that can happen with brain fog is the brain's not detoxifying. There could be hormonal issues, and there could be like an accumulation, like blockages in the kidneys, basically, like an accumulation of energy in the kidneys. And so I would treat the things that we've talked about first before we start going down the rabbit hole of the other things, just to see like if it resolves, how much it resolves, and then we can kind of fine tune the plan because each one is like a kind of a different pathway. And
Okay,
we'll get a gauge of how he's doing after that, and then kind of fine tune it after that.
that sounds great. Well, I think we're hitting it. The time's really good. He said, some of it is getting better, Denise, as I try to take a little more care of myself, which he wasn't taking at all care of himself. So he's trying to be a little more conscious and moving that way. So then the oils are coming in. And then I think he's sensitive enough that we'll know from there. So thank you so much,
You're
Craig.
so
I
welcome.
appreciate it.
Keep us posted.
Oh, I will. Thank you.
And then go ahead, Peggy, then Barbara.
Hey, Peggy.
Hi, y'all. So my niece, who is 50, has had a cough for 2 months, and the doctor didn't help. And she told me she would do oils, no problem. And it is probably, she felt like it was maybe an allergy, postnasal drip, and then coughing. And I mean, we were just talking, and she had to quit talking because she started coughing. So
So it's more than just like a spasmodic cough. It still feels like it's trying to release something out of the lungs or the throat.
it sounded kind of productive to me, but she said not really.
So I mean, you could try some oils, but I think that probably the easiest thing would be to do the mullein tincture. So the mullein will break down mucus that the lungs, because you're trying to cough. I mean, not all coughs are doing this, but you're trying to get something out of the lungs or out of the trachea or something, the bronchioles. And so it helps with diminishing the mucus. And then mullein I mean, that's one of the things that's known for is reducing coughs.
That's simple. And
Yeah.
is that, do you have a mullein tincture or?
Yeah. Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And she
Barbara
takes it.
will post it there in the chat.
Yeah. And so I do a couple of dropperfuls like 2 or 3 times a day.
Internally?
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm writing this 2 or 3 times a day.
Yeah.
That sounds wonderful. And that's simple, but I don't think she's tried that. So that'd be great.
I mean, it hits a lot of issues that she's potentially dealing with. Sometimes there can be other things going on, but that's a very good place to start, and usually that will knock it out.
Yeah, she's high stress, high anxiety,
Yeah.
working on that.
Yeah.
But this,
Sometimes with stress, you can develop a thing called a spasmodic cough, which is not really the lungs, it's actually the neck and the tightness in the diaphragm. And so if that was the case, I mean, I would use something like hyssop, but combined with the lobelia tincture. But I feel better about the mullein for what she's talking about. So I would start with that. If she's having coughing fits, it's something in the lungs is being irritated. A spasmodic cough is more like not in the lungs, it's more like
no, it's more
maybe.
full bodied, and definitely it wakes her up. It makes you tired when you cough that hard. So, okay, we'll get her going on that and see how it does.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
And then go ahead, Barbara, then Danelle.
Hey, Mark.
Hey there. A friend of mine had emergency surgery for small bowel obstruction about 3 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no history, no, it just kind of hit her out of the blue. She was in a month-long meditation retreat. Says she lost about 7 pounds of muscle. She's still feeling incredibly depleted. And this morning she mentioned something about sounded like having difficulty with her breath.
Okay.
And I don't have specifics, but I'm I'm just wondering what I might be able to suggest for her. I think she'd be open to doing a couple of things.
When she says difficulty with her breath, like she's just breathing real weak and kind of shallow.
I don't know. We were in a group and I didn't ask. She doesn't appear to be laboring breath, but she said she was having difficulty with it. And I don't think that's something she has ever mentioned before.
So I would say let's explore a couple of things. One would be to deepen the breath, open up the diaphragm and the lungs. So hiss up would be the easiest thing, like easy and inexpensive. And so that would be a way to address that. But the other thing that would be the concern is that sometimes with something like this, see, she had a blockage.
Yeah, she didn't say, but it sounded not so much like she couldn't take a deep breath, but that just it wasn't feeling regular to her.
Yeah. So there's a thing called like respiratory weakness, and it's just like the breath just isn't strong. You're not breathing, you're not taking good solid inhalations. It can happen with any sort of respiratory issue, but like even like pain syndromes, and here you're dealing with something down in the digestive tract where it threw the body off. And so there is a couple of choices here, some form of thyme or cinnamon, and she could get away with just probably inhaling it. But if she could take it internal, that would probably even be a little bit better. But just like a couple of drops, maybe twice a day. Um,
A particular time you recommend?
just like red thyme, white thyme, the other types of thyme would work. It's just for this red thyme and white thyme are much stronger. And
Okay.
so I mean benchmark time would be in there too, but it's a lot more expensive, and I don't know that it works any better. And for this, you know.
Mhm.
And so I would just go that route. And part of what it's doing is it's stimulating the action, the motor function of inhalation, exhalation. And even with deepening the breath, there's a lot of other oils that we could use for that. But the thing that's nice about hyssop is it's a stimulant to the medulla oblongata. And the medulla oblongata is in charge of like circulation and heart rate, but also respiratory function. And so it deepens the breath, but it also stimulates like proper function of the respiratory tract. And so I kind of like the hyssop for that. Like I'd keep it just really simple, like hyssop and then like a form of thyme or cinnamon.
Thank you. And what about just the sense of regenerating the body overall?
With surgery.
Said she lost 7 pounds of muscle.
I mean, the cinnamon and thyme kind of hit that as well. Like
Okay.
I don't know that there's, as I think that out, like if she starts using that, I don't know that there would be anything else to kind of
Okay.
do in place of that. Because both of those are very strengthening to the body.
Thank you.
And then go ahead, Danelle and Lolly.
Hey, Danelle.
Hey Greg, how are you?
I'm doing good.
So I had a really stressful interaction with a teacher that I was studying under for shamanism,
Mhm.
and I kind of suspected he fell into the Uncle Bob category.
Yeah,
Um,
it
but this
happens.
recent interaction with him really kind of accentuated that. So
There's
it
Uncle
was really
Bob, and then
jarring.
there's Uncle effing Bob.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, he was every Bob except for one. So,
Right.
I just can't seem to let it go mentally, and it's causing me to not be able to sleep at night. I keep just going over and over. Any anything you can recommend would be helpful. I have
So,
done the Uncle Bob stuff though.
okay, so the Uncle Bob stuff should be helpful, but like kind of what you're describing is trauma. You
Yeah,
know,
that's what I figured.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
it was
so
triggering.
yeah, it's triggering, it's upsetting, it hurts our feelings, you know, we have all this time and energy invested in a situation, and then
Yes.
it's not the way that we thought it was. I mean, I've been right where you've been at.
Yeah, and
And
it
so,
sucks.
do you have helichrysum?
Yes.
Do helichrysm and like think of the situation or the person and
Oh,
then go back and feel it in the body and go back and forth. Uh,
okay.
and then still using the helichrysm, I would do that pattern of the soles of the feet, the Ming Men, which is the low back,
Yeah.
the back heart, and the crown. And that has a transmuting effect to the situation that was going on. But like any time where you have that repetition going on and you're like, oh, I'm reliving this over and over again, that's trauma. I mean, that's,
Yes.
you know, so that will diminish the energy of trauma. Like if it was strong enough to where a thought form was formed because of it, and the helichrysum doesn't feel like it's completely resolving it. Um, the universal healer, like if you've had that in one of the classes, because I think it's already been in a couple of classes, or just poplar by itself, including
Okay.
just spray, you know,
Yeah, I have poplar.
right. So just inhale that, do the same thing. The poplar will
Okay.
break down the thought form, the
Okay.
the traumatic thought form. The helichrysum will diminish the trauma of the situation, the energy, the thought energy, all that kind of stuff. So I would start with helichrysum, and then if it still doesn't quite resolve, then do the poplar. And if you wanted to throw in like a Auric program, do the limbic system, which is with Splendor. Just the Splendor sometimes will help because it's kind of tied to like PTSD. And I don't know that I'd call this PTSD, but part of PTSD is traumatic stress. You know what I mean? So
Sure.
it helps with like the trauma of the situation. It basically is helping the limbic responses calm down. Like when we get traumatized, our limbic system starts to go 90 miles an hour. And so
Yeah.
it's just a way to like calm all that down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank
But even with you
thank
talking about it, like you don't seem, I know it's probably triggering at times, but you're not constantly in that triggered state. Like you're talking really normal, you're talking at a normal rate, your
Yeah.
voice not elevated, you're not talking really fast.
Yes. It's
So,
gotten better little by little because
yeah.
this incident happened about a week ago. So,
Yeah.
um,
So whatever you're doing is working. Just
yeah.
like add the helichrysum, add the poplar,
Okay.
and like things like tarragon will take down the shock of a situation, but some
Yeah, and I did do that. And that did
like
help too.
the benzoin sometimes will help put space.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and so sometimes it's even that space is like you're still seeing the situation, but you're withdrawn enough to where you're almost like an observer rather being like entangled in it. You know
Yes.
what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And sorry that happened. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
it
It's, yeah,
happens.
it's,
But
Yeah, it sucked, but I feel like it happened for a reason. It's kind of put me now in a different direction. So
Sometimes people just take themselves a little too serious.
yeah, definitely. I think that was a part of it. And yeah, the
Yeah.
Uncle Bob stuff really helped a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it happens. It happens in every kind of circle, not just spiritual or healing circles. It just,
It does, true.
you know, it's like any time that somebody has like some sort of authority or perceived authority, they have to like work really hard to keep that in perspective. You know what I mean? And not everybody even knows that. And so, yeah, whatever you learned in that situation, try to take that away the best that you can. And the other part, just personality and, walk away however you can.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, I just keep telling myself, take what you need and leave the rest.
Yeah. 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 I mean, I had some, especially in my youth, I had some people that I got some very good training with. And I think the clinical name was they were dicks. Like they were just dicks. But I still learned some things from them. And I think the challenge for me at the time was not to let their personality take away from my learning because for me, I don't know about for you, but for me, I was ready to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Like, I don't want anything to do with any of this stuff.
Yeah.
And the time and energy is valid. You did learn some things. Their
Yes.
personality got in the way, and you know you let the bathwater out, you keep the baby.
Yeah,
And I
definitely.
had
And
to
there's a lot of valuable
constantly, yeah,
information I did learn. So
I had to constantly remind myself for a while.
yeah, yes.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, I've kind of had to do the same thing. And
yeah, I think that's pretty normal.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
just jarring when
Yeah.
when it's a spiritual teacher. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I hear you. Yeah, I hear you. Like, but like I said, your voice sounds good. The pace at which you're talking, how you're talking about it, you're processing it. You're working through it. So just keep
Yeah,
doing.
thank you. Yeah,
You're right
that's
on the right path.
that's good to know. And I did have a quick question about I thank you for that free oil and spray. It was one of the angels,
Oh,
Daniel,
yeah, yeah, yeah. The
Damael.
Damael. Yeah, yeah,
Damael.
yeah.
Is there a specific protocol for that or pattern?
I think we had a pattern that we put out.
Yeah, I'll post. Well, I think we even made a little blog post. We'll
Yeah,
put a
we'll
little.
we'll put
Okay.
that. Yeah.
And I can look back through the newsletters too. I keep them, so
Yeah, and I can't remember. I try to put with the little postcards, the little sticker on the back, but maybe it got missed with the Damael
Yeah.
one. So I'll check on that. Maybe I didn't
Yeah,
get it.
part of the issue with us doing all those is we're processing so many orders because of that.
yes, sure.
Sometimes we don't know what happened. We're only able to process like 50 or 75 a day. And yeah, it's been a little bit of a challenge for the office.
Yeah, thank you. I like it. I like the
Yeah,
spray too. It's very
yeah.
calming.
Isn't it? And it's got this citrus in there that comes out of South Africa called Nartji. And it's just, oh my God, it's like an orangey kind of smell. And it
Yeah.
just smells like it should be made into candy or something. Like it's just this delicious smell. So,
And then one last thing. So I did buy that composition tincture from you
oh yeah.
guys.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
that one I just take when I'm starting. So
Yeah.
so I get a lot of chronic sinus infections. I've mentioned that.
Try to
So
do it right off the bat. Like if
right
you
off the
feel
bat, as
something
soon,
coming
okay.
on. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
That's a
Thank you.
very old school formula.
Oh, and can you tell me what's in it? Is it
It,
herbs mostly?
it is, yeah, it's all herbs. Um,
And I have it here actually.
okay.
It's bayberry, ginger, white pine, cloves, and a pinch of cayenne.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks. Thank you so much.
That's
Have a
out
good
of
night.
that herbal book Back to Eden.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an old school formula out of Back to Eden. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Thank you.
You're so
And then go ahead, Lolly, and then we have someone who have to read their chat because it's in a
Sure.
background that's loud.
Just a quick one follow-up. We talked about the Angelica tincture. So I'll do the lemon for the blood. Do you think I should still take the Angelica tincture?
I would. Yeah.
Okay, so keep doing that even
Yeah.
if it doesn't feel like it's doing something immediately.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, keep doing that. Okay, thank you.
You're so welcome.
On that, would you up the dose or be able to gauge it? I was just curious, like, how would you know?
Lolly, how much are you taking?
I think about I don't know if even a drop full actually. I probably do just a few drops because my body tends to like need less than like the normal dose with some things. But
Have you taken a dropper full?
I think I started with that and then maybe I taper down a little bit. But I can go back to a dropper full.
Let's have you do a dropper full, and if you could even do it like twice a day, that would be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll try. Thank you.
I'd like to ask some questions.
Sure.
Number one, I was doing the 4 quadrants, then I suddenly got an idea that I should spin my aura. Is it good to spin the aura a few times after doing the 4 quadrants?
I mean, if you are spinning, like, probably most people don't know what they're talking about, but like you can spin the aura. It won't really do anything for the programming, but it does like make the aura temporarily a little bit stronger. So, not necessary for the process, but
2, where should I position my dorje when pointing down?
you can just like this isn't quite a dorje, but you can do it kind of like this, or you can do it off to the side. So like either right directly in front of you, right? Like this, or off to the side, like if you want to kind of rest your shoulder like that.
Okay, because they're
Yeah.
wondering at my side, near my navel, or near my heart
Just like
chakra.
in front of the heart is usually what I do. Like you guys see me like when I'm doing it, I kind of go like this. That feels like the best spot. But sometimes I will go off here, but that feels like it's the most potent.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then also earlier, I think that, and I'll let you know if they have any follow-ups from there. A question about the lymphatic blend. Are there particular areas of the body best to apply it topically for ongoing support of the system?
So you can use the lymphatic blend to treat sites, like if you're having an issue like on the hip or something like that. But you could also use it as a general like body treatment. So there you could do salt baths, you could do body tonics, or you could hit the spots. Arms and legs are always good, throat's always good, like the chest, especially over on the sides. And a big place where the lymphatic system is super, super stagnant is the abdomen. And so applying several drops to the abdomen can be quite good. If you're having back issues, it's not necessarily like a treatment for like back issues, but it helps to detoxify the area. And a lot of times when we have like achy joints or something like that, it's basically lymphatic stagnation. It's an imbalance in the nervous system and then lymphatic stagnation. And so you can enhance it by using something like lemongrass or anise or anise, however you want to say it. sage. You can use something to kind of balance out the nervous system. Because if the nervous system's out of balance, the lymphatic system's not functioning properly. So marjoram would be another one. So you can inhale those non-specific, pattern. You can just inhale them and then put the lymphatic blend on whatever your problem spots are.
Is it beneficial to be taken internally?
No, I wouldn't take it internal. It's meant to be topical or inhaled.
Thank you. And go ahead, Lolly, and then we have another chat question too.
So to follow up on that question, if you were to work with the lymphatic blend and also work with lymphatic bliss, which we just had on the weekend, how would you work with both of these together?
Sorry about my cough there. I would do the lymphatic bliss, trying to find it here. So lymphatic bliss is brain, spine, brain, soles, the feet. And then the lymphatic blend, again, right where you need to put it. So if it's a shoulder or a neck or a back, abdomen, yeah.
So then using the lymphatic bliss, doing inhalations, and then doing the lymphatic blend topically.
Yeah. I mean, you can put lymphatic bliss like on the wrists or something, but it doesn't need to be as specific. The lymphatic blend is really helping to detoxify an area, and it's helping to clear congested lymph nodes. But the lymphatic bliss is increasing the circulation itself.
Okay. And then would you do the lymphatic blend as a Auric programming as well?
Yeah, well, sure.
Okay. So then basically do all the things with each one of them. Like, so when the blend is more topically and the Auric programming, and the bliss is more of like the vibrational side and doing the
about the circulation.
Circulation.
And the circulation gets compromised by usually imbalances in the nervous system, but it also can be imbalances in the respiratory system, and it can have other causes. And so it just helps to stimulate the circulation.
Okay, perfect. Thank
the
you.
other thing that the lymphatic bliss does is it increases the throwing off of lower vibrational energies.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's why we used it on the weekend. That's right off the bat, is you're throwing off lower vibrational energies, or the elementals, whatever you want to call them. Energies from the earth, you're throwing that off right off the bat. And so that is part of what the lymphatic system does, is it detoxifies the body, but it also detoxifies the energy body.
Okay. Perfect. Makes sense. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
And a question, how is so kind of as a reference, this is back when you were talking about self-acceptance or neroli on the jaws. How is self-acceptance and neroli oil different from marjoram for the jaws?
Well, marjoram's a little bit more of an antispasmodic, where we think of the jaws as just being the jaws and the muscular aspect, but there are also aspects of the lower mental body, the critical mind, and lower repetitive thinking, and associated with when people are being aggressive with us or projecting negativity towards us. Part of what happens is the jaws, but also when we're not accepting parts of ourselves, because like a lot of times we think of defensiveness as other people, but sometimes we're defending and not letting other parts of ourselves into our normal everyday life. And it's usually not bad pieces, it's just pieces we're not used to. And so there's a lot more of an energetic and psychological aspect to the jaw work with neroli or self-acceptance that the marjoram doesn't do. You know, the marjoram is very good as an antispasmodic, but the neroli and self-acceptance just takes a kind of tension out of there that it's like what I was saying before. I didn't even know I had it until it was gone. And then I was like, oh God, how did I get through the day every day with that? And you know, it's tied more to the defenses. You know, think about like when you're under a lot of pressure or somebody's grinding on you or there's some sort of conflict. Where do you usually feel it? You know, you feel it in different parts of your body, but your jaws start to clench. You know, it's unwinding some of those mechanisms. And the lower mind or the critical mind sees everything in pieces and doesn't see how they go together. And so that's what starts to be the precursor to self-denial or being defensive, is you're not seeing the big picture, you're seeing everything in pieces. And so in a way, by calming that down, it lets everything kind of present as a bigger picture rather than just a piece, a piece, a piece, a piece, a piece, you know, so it kind of ties everything together in a way.
Is that something we would practice daily? Like, is there?
If it does something for you, I would say yes. Like, you know, again, for me, I'll use myself as an example, is I'll do it really intensely for like a week or two, and then I don't do it for a little while. And then a few weeks goes by, and then I'll do it a few nights in a row. And so it doesn't have to be super scheduled, but I would put it in the mix of things. And, you know, do it for a little while. And sometimes when you start to have a shift, you know, let the shift happen and then come back and visit it again in a little bit. Like soon as you can start to feel the shift happen, you kind of can just let it go and just let it integrate.
Could you apply the neroli just on the jaws?
You could apply it, but it's probably going to be a little bit better inhaling it. When I was applying it to the jaws, it felt nice, but the breathing into the area was much more potent.
I was gonna say I did the same thing in class, and
Yeah.
it just felt.
It was nice, but it wasn't nice the way breathing it was nice. Breathing it was like amazing, but on there it was like, yeah, it's good. You know, if you wanted to do a combo, put the marjoram on the jaw and then inhale the neroli. Yeah.
Yeah, because you have the physical.
Yeah, you have the antispasmodic effect, and still the marjoram is pulling the body out of fight flight and all those kinds of things, but then you still hit the pieces with the self-acceptance and the neroli.
So good.
Might be the thing that I do tonight. Yeah, now that we are talking this out, I think I've just planned out the rest of my evening.
Someone shared, very psyched about the transformational astrology 3.0.
Yeah, it's our first 3.0, I think.
It is, I'm excited.
Yeah, it's such a fun class.
And just so you guys know, I did put it as a teaser on the site so you guys could save the date. I'll get the actual able to register and everything in the next couple days.
Our apologies. We've been on the road for like 5 days, and I don't know, probably one of our roughest trips that we've had for a while. Like I had to reschedule our flight, what is it, 4 times?
I think at
Like
least.
it was that we had ice trying to get to the freeway or to the airport. It was just, the trip was nuts. So yeah.
We're getting back on schedule.
But we're back on our feet. We're not going anywhere for a little bit. So
and then go ahead, Ralph.
hey.
Hey, Greg, could
How are you, man?
could you talk a little bit about Transastro 3 and body systems? What are they going to do? What's
So
going to be
the body systems, I'll have to go back and look at my notes for the astrology thing because I wrote it a long time ago, and I've slept since then, so I don't remember.
Okay.
But the thing with the body the body systems. I can't remember what we called it. Body systems in the brain or something like that.
And your brain.
Basically what we're going to do is we're going to look at different functions in the body that directly contribute to brain function. And so like inflammation is a good one. So if we look at the immune system, lymphatic function would impact brain function, and inflammation would deal with it. So not just going, okay, so you should use anti-inflammatories and you should use like lymphatic oils or whatever,
Right.
but treating those areas specifically to enhance brain function, and then going to the cardiovascular system and going, what in the cardiovascular system directly impacts brain function and mental function, and then going to the nervous system, what in the nervous system directly impacts brain function and mind function. So we're just going to go through the body. Like one that you wouldn't think of is muscular, like muscular dysfunctions in the body, like trigger points and things, throw off brain function, and they throw off cognitive abilities.
Okay.
So, I'm going to break out some more of the trigger point blends, very specific to different areas. But instead of just saying like all the trigger points in the body, we're going to hit the hot spots that really contribute to brain function. So,
Okay. When you do that, do me a favor and include which oils we can take internally
okay.
for someone who's not super into oils, but who's having cognitive decline, that we can have an oil that we can take a drop of this morning and evening.
So
kind of
right off the
thing.
bat, I would say lion's mane tincture
Yeah.
is very good. And then things like rosemary, basil, topically sage, but rosemary and basil would both be internal.
Yeah.
Bacopa would be another one.
Okay.
And attractoloads.
Internal attractoloads though?
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. All right. But yeah, having those in the class would be helpful.
Yeah, we're going to cover all that. Anything that it makes the brain work better, we're going to talk about.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Mm.
Really quick, if we have time, Greg, someone shared, I've had an experience with Minarda on the skin. How do you recommend using it?
Inhale or a couple drops internally.
And I think that could call it for the night.
Yeah.
So I just posted the link. If you can join us to bless the Astara Healing and Prayer Petitions. Love to have you join us. I'm going to get Greg over there. I just posted the link in the chat though. So come on over if you can. And again, if you need to email us, if we missed anything, my apologies, but we'll see you maybe in just a minute. Oh, and tomorrow we have the STAR practices as well as the study group for those of you who took the class last weekend.
Yeah.
And the Montessori practice. Okay, later guys.
Take care.